resources, inspiring interviews, business practices, and practical advice to take your art career to the next level. Join Sergio Gomez in today's Artist Next Level and get ready to take control of your career.
Hello, my Next Level friends. Sergio Gomez here, and I want to welcome you to a brand new episode of the Artist Next Level podcast. Well, this is, the end of 2017, so I thought, for this time, instead of bringing you an interview today, I want to give you something to think about. And this is something I have been thinking about myself, looking back at the year, looking back at how things have changed over the years, how the art world is changing, how technology is changing, social media is changing the way we do things. Mobile devices are becoming kind of our best friend, and they go everywhere we go. So I want to give you today 5 skills every artist needs to succeed in 2018. These skills you need, are probably very different from, let's say, what you needed 20 years ago. But yet there are other skills that are still pretty good, that are still as important as they have been before, such as the ability, for example, to work with other people. That's a skill that for millennia has been very important. So today I want to give you some of those 5 skills that I think are very important that you need to succeed in 2018, 2019, and maybe 2020, who knows? If you don't have these skills right now, I'm also going to give you some advice on how you can improve in the skills I'm going to share with you. So I hope you like it, and if you do, please share them with a friend as well. Okay, skill number 1 that you need to succeed in 2018 is contextualize your story. Very important to contextualize your story. So let me explain. Storytelling is as old as people have been around. There is no surprise. Storytelling is today, as important as ever before. You may wonder why. Well, because artists need to tell their stories. You need to tell your story in order to connect with the public, to connect with people. Telling your story is much more than taking a picture in your phone and sharing it on Facebook. That's just sharing. Contextualizing your story is about who you are, what you do, and why you do it. Something that we should be thinking about all the time as artists. Regardless of what art medium or style you prefer to work with, the story behind it is just as much powerful as the art that you create itself. So I want you to think about that. In a time when it seems all that we do is swipe up and left and right in our little tiny screens in our mobile devices, storytelling is still the one thing that keeps us engaged with each other. It's still as important as it has been for the last 1,000 years. So here's an exercise that you can develop if you think you lack on this skill of storytelling or contextualizing your story. Here's what you can do. Write a post on Facebook or Instagram if you want with an interesting story behind one of your artwork, one of your works, maybe a painting or a drawing or a sculpture, something that has an interesting story or something that influenced you in some way to create that work. What you will do is write a whole post about it. Don't just share the picture, but write a post, write the story, tell what happened, what you were thinking about, and you will be surprised at the number of people engaged with it versus if you had just shared the picture with the title medium in size. Try it and you'll see the difference that a story with context to what we are looking at makes a whole difference. So again, that's something that I think is going to be more and more important as we see more and more imagery coming our way. Stories are still the one thing that as human beings, we keep attracted towards. So use that. I think that's going to be very important, not only for posting, but also when you make videos, when you write things, when you make a post in your blog or in your website or what have you. Contextualize your story. I think is going to help you in 2018. All right. Number 2, the second thing that I think artists will need to succeed in 2018 is you got to capitalize on your network. Huge, very important. And I have said this many times in webinars and in podcasts and in talks that I've done and in blogs that I have written, but network is king. Yeah, network is king. And in 2018, network is still at the throne, still is king. The good news is that networking is not a skill only reserved for those who are extroverts, who are pretty good at the parties and connecting with a lot of people. The ability to make significant connections over a period of time is something that you have to master, whether you are an introvert or an extrovert. That's plain and simple. We also call this here the relational capital. Here at the Next Level, we call it relational capital because it requires an investment of your own time, of your energy, and it requires an effort to grow a significant network around you. Now, let me make something clear. Networking is not about how many followers you have in Instagram or how many comments you get on your post. It's not about that. It's not about the numbers. Relational capital is building relationships one person and one conversation at a time. That is what I mean when I say, capitalize on your network. It's very important that you invest on the one-on-one. When I look back at each of the projects that I have lined up for this year, for 2018, and everything that I worked on in 2017, they all come down to a handful of people that I have been working with, that I have been connecting over time, that I have been creating these relationships. Yeah, maybe we met first in social media and then we started to comment on each other's posts and are starting to collaborate and talk about ideas, and then projects happen out of that. Or maybe somebody approached me who was in my network and I was familiar with that person, or vice versa. I approached someone who was in my network, but I didn't come out just cold turkey, somebody who I had already spent a significant amount of time in conversations, either in live or in social media. So, that is very important. Network still in 2018 is huge. It's important to advance your art career. So here's one way in which you can improve this skill. If maybe networking is not your thing, or maybe you feel that you don't have enough networks to really advance forward, it's not the end of the world. Make 2018 the best year ever. So here's what you can do. Here's a practical advice you can do on this one. Send to one or two people you highly respect in your network a well thought out thank you note that you can do by email, by text, by messenger, or by letter. And I mean, spend the time to really write something nice to that person. Then send a thoughtful congratulatory comment, or maybe a couple, to other people who have recently accomplished something of significance in their career, maybe a solo show, a commission, an award, or whatever, or a proposal that they got accepted, or something they sold, a work of art that they sold to a collection or what have you. And I'm sure you can find those people when you look at your social media, right? Because we like to share the things that are positive in our lives, in our career. So next time you see one of those, spend the time, and instead of you say, hey, congrats, send a nice, really thoughtful thought about that and really congratulate them. So when you do these two things, you thank people for their contribution to the community or for what they have meant to you in one way or another. And this is a perfect time because we're right at the end of the year. So it's a great time if you have a person that you've been looking up to, send them a quick note and say, I really appreciate what you have said or what you have taught me this year. And it doesn't have to be even somebody but something that you follow. And I think when you do those things more often, you're giving like positive vibes out into the world that eventually will come back to you in positive opportunities as well. And when you do that, you create conversations, you start to improve in your network, and as long as you continue that process, it will be a positive thing in your art career. That I guarantee it, because it works. This is something that I have done, and this is something that I continue to do, and I recommend other people to do, and I see it when they do it, that they also start getting great results. So it's part of being part of this community, right? You cannot capitalize on your network unless you invest first in the art community or in the community of people around you. You cannot just ask without you having first given tenfold. So that's what my advice for number 2. If you want to succeed in 2018 as an artist, a skill that you need is to capitalize on your network. Okay, number 3 is to organize your studio practice. That is very important too. Organization still is very important in 2018. Although 2018 is right around the corner, or maybe you listen to this podcast and it's already 2018. Believe it or not, today I still meet many artists who organize their studio practice like if it was 1989. I mean, their images are stored somewhere in their computer, in various folders. Maybe their info about their art is in spreadsheets somewhere in their computer. Information about shows and reviews and stuff is in documents somewhere here and there, PDFs, Word documents, and everything is everywhere in their computer. If they lose their computer, they can't find stuff. anymore, and it's chaotic. Or maybe it's not even that bad, but just the fact that it's not organized in a central location still is a hassle. But you know what? There is something that you can do about that, because there's no reason why artists shouldn't be well organized when it comes to managing their inventory, their sales, exhibitions, and all aspects of their studio practice. You, my friend, myself as an artist, this is something that we can do. There are tools out there to help us manage our life in and out of the studio, and that is so important. Why is it more important than ever? Because every minute you spend looking for files, for images, for details, and other info, all that stuff, all that time counts. It adds up at the end of the year. It's time that you could be doing something else, like networking, or it's time that you could be spend working in your studio. So, you gotta organize yourself. Why should I spend 30 minutes creating an exhibition report when I can be doing it in 5 minutes by using some sort of modern tool available to us as artists? There's no reason why wasting time is something that happens today, when there are ways in which we can save that time. Now, if that's you, if this is something that say, well, that's me, Sergio, my studio practice, all my stuff is just everywhere, I need help with that. Well, here's a tool that I can give you, again, to help you master that skill. And this is something that I have talked about before. It's called Artwork Archive, and you can sign up for Artwork Archive. It's an online platform helping artists organize their inventory, managing their artwork, keep track of sales, reminders, and much, much more. You can create labels, you can create reports, consignment agreements, all with a click of a button. It is awesome. And again, it's a tool that I use for my art career. And since I've used it and I loved it, I've been telling artists left and right. In fact, we have 2 podcasts dedicated to Artwork Archive. One with its founder, and another one recently with another one of the founders too. So the co-founders have been in the podcast talking about Artwork Archive and the major impact that they are doing in the art world by helping artists managing their studio practice. So if this is you, all you got to do is go to www.artworkarchive.com, and there you will find what you need to organize your studio practice, and you can try it out as well before you commit to it if you want. So again, there's no excuse. You can absolutely organize your studio practice in 2018. It will serve you well, and it will open up time for you to do other important things. So that's number 3. Okay, number 4, and again, another skill that you need in 2018 to really succeed as an artist is to document, not just share. Document, not just share. So let me explain this one. We as artists, we trade for attention, right? We give something in exchange of attention. Most of the times we trade time in order to be seen and to be heard, right? We do this through video, through audio, through visuals, through presentations, through exhibitions, and so on. We do it every day in social media these days, right? We all connect to social media. This is perhaps how you probably got the link to listen to this particular podcast, right? Because somebody shared it maybe in their social, and you clicked, the title seemed promising, you clicked on it, and now you are listening to me right now. See, so there's a big shift between sharing and documenting. Too many people worry about, the perfect photo, the perfect angle, the perfect post, the perfect piece of content. And oftentimes, we also feel like we haven't accomplished much, or when we compare ourselves to other artists who are doing better, it's like, oh, why would anybody would like to see my picture or like my picture or my story, and so on. What is going to win, I think, in the future is authenticity. Regardless of what everybody's doing, don't worry about what everybody else is doing or not doing. Focus on being authentic, being yourself, authenticity. Post, document your career, your life as an artist. Think of it as reality TV. That's what people love these days. What you see is what you get. That's really what's important. Don't dress it up. Just be yourself. Share your life. Document your activity as an artist. And I think people will be attracted to what you do. That's why people are so hooked to, to reality TV, because they feel that they are there in the moment with what's happening to that person on the screen. Now, how can we do this as artists? Well, by sharing in whatever medium comes natural to you. Like if you love writing, then write, a post, a blog post or something, or write long posts. If you love video, then maybe start a video blog. and just share it, maybe once a week or something, of things that happen in your studio, your thoughts, your ideas. Don't look don't look to be perfect. Don't look for perfection. If you love talking, then maybe do a podcast, like this one. It's another way in which you can share your thoughts, your ideas, and document what you do and your legacy as an artist. Let me give you an example. For me, besides writing, which I love, I also love podcasting, and that's why I have this podcast, right? For the last couple of years, the Art Next Level podcast has been a really polished, professional audio production that takes me a long time to produce each week to bring it to you the best as I can make it. Now, recently, just within the last couple of weeks, I decided I wanted a more raw option. So I turned to an app that's called Anchor.fm, A-N-C-H-O-R, Anchor. Anchor.fm is a mobile app that records podcasts and publishes them with the push of a couple buttons right on your phone. So it is pretty easy, pretty simple. Anyone can do it. And I started the Sergio Gomez Art Talk. It's a daily audio journal. So I do it every morning before I leave the house. Just take my phone, record 5 minutes of what I'm thinking about that day, things that are important as an artist or curator, or organizer of projects and things like that. And I share my thoughts, my ideas, and by doing so, I'm documenting my life as an artist through this podcast. And it's simple. It's unedited and it's uncut. You cannot edit it. You just have to click, keep it or lose it, and you just do it. So you don't think too much about it. So I think there are ways in which you can find this approach of documenting, not just sharing. Document your life as an artist, what you're doing, and people will start coming to see what is it that you do. You should try it, in some way. Find something that kind of fits who you are in your personality. Don't worry if you only have one person reading your post or one person watching your video or one person listening to your audio at the beginning. Just continue documenting what you do for your own legacy, and you know what? I guarantee you that people will eventually start to follow. If you are consistent, if you are authentic, and if you are truthful about what you are doing as an artist. So that's my number 4, document, not just share. And then the last one, which is very important too, the 5th skill that I think every artist needs to succeed in 2018 is the skill of pitching your ideas. The skill of pitching your ideas the right way. Here's the thing, my friend. If you didn't get enough opportunities in 2017, it may not be because you had bad luck or maybe it was a cursed year for you. Maybe it was just because you didn't know how to pitch your ideas, how to pitch your projects the right way. Many times we miss opportunities because we aren't ready. We just don't feel confident about our work or lack the skill to propose our ideas for projects or exhibitions. It takes a skill to know how to ask. The saying, and you all have heard this, if you don't ask, you will not receive. I think it's almost as true as this other one that I want to tell you. If you ask the wrong way, it's almost as if you didn't ask at all. And that, I believe, my friends, it is true, and this I have learned over the years. In 2017, I had to write high-level exhibition proposals for museums, and I had to use the skills I have gathered over the years. So the result were amazing, and my proposals were all accepted, and now I'm super excited about that. I'm super happy for 2018. But I learned how to ask, and how to ask at the right time. So that's a skill that you need to harness, you need to grow for the future of your art career. This could happen to you too. You just have to learn how to do it. So learn the skill of writing a killer exhibition proposal or project proposal, and make 2018 an amazing year of opportunities for you, maybe of exhibitions, of sales, whatever it is that you want to do, your ideas that you want to pitch. So if this is something you are interested in doing, I have one recommendation for you as well, again, to get better at this skill of asking and putting together proposals for your ideas. And it's a webinar that is my most famous webinar in the last 2 years. I do it a few times during the year, and always gets hundreds of people, of artists coming to it. It's called 7 Steps to Creating a Killer Exhibition Proposal. Super easy. 7 steps to creating a killer exhibition proposals. And in this one, in this webinar, which I'll be running on and off throughout the year, I teach you how to create a proposal that makes sense, a proposal that's direct, a proposal that's well done. That's why I call it a killer exhibition proposal. And you can do this as an artist, as a curator, for things that you want to propose, for projects, for exhibitions, for etc. There's all kinds of things you can use this information that I share with you. So if this is something that you want, this webinar is absolutely free. I'm on a mission to help artists create great proposals and pitch their ideas in a way that gives results. So if this is something you want to do, all you have to do is just go online and sign up for my webinar at theartistnextlevel.com/killer proposals, or just go to the website, theartistnextlevel.com, and in the homepage you will find a button to this free live webinar, because I think pitching ideas, learning how to write a great proposal is essential for your growth in 2018. So that's it, my friends. Those are the 5 skills that every artist needs to succeed in 2018. So as a quick review, contextualize your story. That was number 1. Number 2, capitalize on your network. Super important. Number 3, organize your studio practice. Huge. Number 4, document, not just share. And number 5, pitch your ideas. Learn how to pitch your ideas. So these are the 5 skills that I have put together for you to grow in 2018. So if you like this, my friend, if you thought these were good, all I ask you is for one favor. Please share this podcast with a friend, or this blog post. If you are listening from my website, you have also this whole podcast in text form, so you can share it and people can get the best out of this information and make their best years. Here's a good way in which you can grow relational capital. If you found this podcast to be useful, gather the link, send it to a friend and say, hey, I just listened to this and I thought it was pretty useful for me. This could be useful for yourself as well. And you start a conversation right there with someone you want to connect to. So hope you enjoy it, my friends. Thank you for listening. Follow me on Instagram at Sergio Gomez Projects if you want to see what I do, in between podcast episodes. And thanks again, and I will see you at the next level.
Check out our website at www.theartistnextlevel.com, where you will find our podcast library, learn about our upcoming webinars, find resources relevant to your career, and much more. Thanks for listening to today's podcast, and we'll see you at the next level.